My sister Lisa was diagnosed with cancer last year. The news struck our family like a thunderbolt, leaving us all reeling in shock and fear. The diagnosis brought with it a whirlwind of emotions, grief, anger, and an overwhelming sense of helplessness. It was especially tough on Lisa, who had always been the lively and spirited one in the family. Watching her strength waver was heart-wrenching. From the moment we heard the news, our lives changed drastically. We became a family in crisis mode, trying to navigate the complex world of medical appointments, treatments, and hospital stays. The house, once filled with laughter and casual banter, turned somber and quiet. My parents, particularly, seemed to age overnight. The stress and worry etched deeply into their faces. I've always had a close bond with Lisa. Growing up, we were inseparable. We shared secrets, dreams, and an unspoken promise to always have each other's backs. So, when she was diagnosed, it felt like my own world was falling apart. But I knew I had to be strong for her. I knew I had to step up and support her in every way possible. I took on most of the household responsibilities, trying to relieve my parents of at least some of their burdens. I cooked meals, cleaned the house, did the laundry, and looked after our younger brother, Sam. Sam was only 10 at the time, and he struggled to understand the gravity of the situation. He missed Lisa's playful nature and often asked when she would get better. It broke my heart to see him so confused and sad, so I made it my mission to keep his spirits up, even if it meant pushing aside my own feelings. Every day I would wake up early to make breakfast, pack lunches, and ensure everyone had what they needed for the day. I had a part-time job at a local grocery store, so after school and work, I would rush home to start dinner, clean the house, and help Sam with his homework. On weekends, I would take him to the park or for ice cream, trying to keep some semblance of normalcy in our lives. I also took him to visit Lisa in the hospital, hoping that seeing her would reassure him that she was still with us, fighting. Lisa's treatment was grueling. Chemotherapy drained her energy and left her feeling sick most of the time. Her once vibrant hair fell out in clumps, and she often felt too weak to even get out of bed. But despite everything, she never lost her fighting spirit. She would smile through the pain, crack jokes to lighten the mood, and reassure us that she would beat this. Her courage was inspiring and kept us all going. There were days when Lisa could barely muster the strength to get out of bed. The once active sister, who loved to go hiking and play soccer, was now confined to her room, battling nausea and fatigue. I remember one particularly difficult day when she had just come home from a chemotherapy session. She was lying on the couch, pale and exhausted. I sat beside her, holding her hand, and she whispered, "I hate this, but I'm going to fight it. I promise." Her determination was unwavering, and it gave us all hope. As Lisa's condition improved, we began to see glimpses of the old Lisa returning. Her hair started to grow back, her energy levels increased, and she became more active. We celebrated each small victory, clinging to the hope that she would soon be cancer-free. And then, after what felt like an eternity, the day came when her doctors declared her in remission. It was as if a huge weight had been lifted off our shoulders. We were all incredibly relieved and grateful for her recovery. Our birthdays are close together. Hers was 2 weeks ago, and mine just passed. To celebrate her recovery, my parents surprised Lisa with a brand new car. It was a beautiful car, sleek and shiny, and Lisa's eyes lit up with joy when she saw it. I remember the moment vividly. We were all gathered in the driveway, and my dad handed Lisa the keys. She squealed with delight and hugged our parents tightly. While I was genuinely happy for her, I could not help but feel a bit confused, since they had always told me we did not have enough money. For over a year, I had been saving up to buy a used car. I had worked extra hours at my part-time job, cutting back on personal expenses to put aside every penny I could. I had managed to save a significant amount, but I was still short by about $800. Each time I asked my dad for a bit of financial help to cover the remaining cost, he said money was tight, and they could not afford to help me. I did not begrudge Lisa her new car after all. She had been through a lot and deserved something special. But it stung to think that my parents had found the money for a brand new car for her while telling me they could not help with a used one. I had hoped they would at least consider my request, given how hard I had worked to save up and support the family during Lisa DJTM's illness. When my birthday came around, my parents gave me a book I had mentioned in passing and a $25 gift card to a local restaurant. I thanked them, But they could tell I was a bit disappointed and asked what was on my mind. I told them I appreciated the gifts, but I had hoped they would help me with the last $800 I needed for the used car, especially now that they had bought a new car for Lisa. They got defensive and accused me of being jealous of Lisa. They said she had gone through a lot, and I was making the situation about myself. They pointed out that I have a job and should keep saving up. It was a painful conversation. I tried to explain that it was not about being jealous, but about feeling overlooked. I had done everything I could to support Lisa and the family during her treatment, and I felt like my efforts were not being acknowledged. But my parents were too upset to see my side of things, and the discussion ended with us all feeling hurt and misunderstood. Over the next few days, I could not shake the feeling of resentment and frustration. I knew Lisa had been through a traumatic experience and deserved every bit of joy she could get, but it felt like my own needs and contributions were being overlooked. I confided in a few close friends, hoping they could offer some perspective. Some agreed that my parents were being unfair, while others thought I should just be happy for Lisa and keep saving for the car on my own. I decided to focus on my job and continue saving up for the car. I picked up extra shifts whenever possible, determined to reach my goal without asking my parents for help again. I also tried to spend more time with Lisa, reminding myself that her health and happiness were what mattered most. As the months passed, the tension between me and my parents eased. We never revisited the conversation about the car, but we found other ways to reconnect. Family dinners became less strained, and we started to laugh and joke around again. Lisa's recovery brought a sense of normalcy back to our lives, and we all began to heal from the emotional turmoil of the past year. Eventually, I saved enough money to buy a used car. It was not as fancy as Lisa's, but it was reliable and gave me the freedom I had been longing for. The first time I drove it, I felt a sense of accomplishment and independence that I had never experienced before. It was a small victory, but it meant a lot to me. Looking back, I realized that the whole experience taught me a lot about resilience, patience, and the importance of family. Lisa's battle with cancer brought us closer together in many ways, even if there were moments of conflict and misunderstanding. I learned to appreciate the small things and to find strength in the support of loved ones. In the end, I am proud of how we all handled such a difficult time. Lisa's recovery is a testament to her strength and determination, and I am grateful to have been a part of her journey. Our family may have faced some challenges, but we came out stronger and more united because of it. And as for the car, it is just a material thing. What truly matters is the bond we share and the love that kept us going through the toughest of times. I will always cherish the lessons learned and the memories made, knowing that we are capable of overcoming anything as long as we stand together. One particularly vivid memory from those tough days was a night when Lisa was having a really bad time after a chemotherapy session. It was late, and I could hear her crying softly in her room. My parents were already asleep, exhausted from the day's stress. I quietly got up and went to her room, sitting beside her on the bed. She looked so small and vulnerable, nothing like the vibrant sister I had grown up with. "I hate this," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I hate feeling so weak." I took her hand in mine, trying to offer some comfort. "I know, Lisa, but you are the strongest person I know. You are going to get through this." She squeezed my hand, her eyes filled with a mixture of pain and determination. "Thank you for being here," she said softly. "I do not know what I would do without you." That night, as we sat together in the dim light of her room, I felt a deep sense of responsibility and love for my sister. It was a reminder of why I was doing everything I could to support her and our family. As time went on and Lisa's health improved, we began to talk about the future again. We made plans to go hiking, to visit the places we had always talked about but never had the time to. Lisa's recovery was like a beacon of hope, signaling that life could return to some semblance of normalcy. When she finally finished her treatment, we threw a small celebration at home. It was a simple affair, just our family and a few close friends. We had a barbecue in the backyard, with Lisa's favorite foods and a big cake to mark the occasion. The atmosphere was filled with relief and joy, and for the first time in a long while, we all felt genuinely happy. It was during this celebration that my parents surprised Lisa with the new car. The look of pure happiness on her face was something I will never forget. She ran her fingers over the sleek exterior, her eyes shining with excitement. It was a moment of triumph, a tangible reward for all the pain and struggle she had endured. For me, seeing Lisa so happy was a bittersweet experience. I was thrilled for her, but it also brought to the surface my own feelings of being overlooked. I had hoped that my parents would recognize my efforts and support me in achieving my goal of getting a car, but it seemed that their focus was solely on Lisa. The following days were a mix of emotions. I tried to hide my disappointment, but it was difficult. My parents noticed, and that led to the conversation where they accused me of being jealous. It was a heated discussion, with emotions running high on all sides. "Why can you not just be happy for your sister?" my dad had said, frustration evident in his voice. "She has been through so much, and you are making this about yourself." "I am happy for her," I replied, struggling to keep my voice steady. "But I have been working hard too. I just thought you might help me with the car, especially now that things are getting better." My mom sighed, looking tired and worn out. "We understand, but you have a job, and you can save up. We have had a lot of expenses, and we did what we could." The conversation ended with no real resolution, just a lingering sense of hurt and misunderstanding. I knew they were right in a way. Lisa had been through something incredibly difficult, and she deserved all the support and happiness we could give her. But it did not make my feelings of being undervalued any less real. In the weeks that followed, I threw myself into work, picking up extra shifts and saving every penny I could. I avoided bringing up the car situation with my parents again, determined to achieve my goal on my own. I focused on supporting Lisa, spending time with her, and helping her adjust to life after treatment. Lisa, unaware of the tension between me and our parents, continued to recover and regain her strength. She started to go out more, meet friends, and even began talking about going back to college. Her resilience was inspiring, and it reminded me why I had been so committed to supporting her throughout her illness. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Lisa turned to me and said, "You know, I could not have made it through this without you. You have been my rock." Her words meant the world to me. It was a reminder that despite the challenges and misunderstandings, the bond we shared was unbreakable. We talked about the future, about our dreams and plans. It felt good to look ahead with hope and optimism, to imagine a life where cancer was just a chapter in our past. Eventually, I saved enough money to buy a used car. It was not brand new, but it was mine. The first time I drove it, I felt a sense of freedom and accomplishment that was indescribable. It was a small victory, but it symbolized much more than just a vehicle. It represented my hard work, my resilience, and my determination to achieve my goals despite the obstacles. Looking back on everything we went through, I realized that the experience had taught me a lot about resilience, patience, and the importance of family. Lisa's battle with cancer brought us closer together in many ways, even if there were moments of conflict and misunderstanding. I learned to appreciate the small things and to find strength in the support of loved ones. In the end, I am proud of how we all handled such a difficult time. Lisa's recovery is a testament to her strength and determination, and I am grateful to have been a part of her journey. Our family may have faced some challenges, but we came out stronger and more united because of it. And as for the car, it is just a material thing. What truly matters is the bond we share and the love that kept us going through the toughest of times. I will always cherish the lessons learned and the memories made, knowing that we are capable of overcoming anything as long as we stand together. Now, every time I see Lisa smiling and thriving, I am reminded of how far we have come. She is a survivor, a fighter, and my hero. And I am proud to be her brother, proud of the strength and resilience that define our family. We faced the storm together and came out stronger, ready to embrace whatever the future holds.